Enslaved people were called unskilled laborers. That was the first lesson you got. Europeans wanted unskilled labor from Africa. And automatically I'm thinking to myself as a kid, wait a minute, hold up. You have a bunch of unskilled people to build your country for you. That makes a lot of sense. Not.
Individuals from the region today of Ghana, which was known as sort of the Akan region in the 18th century, they had metalworking skills, and there were many individuals that were blacksmiths and understood how metals reacted together. And that's a valuable skill in the 18th century because metal was such an important part of the world and that they are building at this time. Along the Congo River, there were boat builders that understood how to navigate large rivers. That certainly would have been important along the North River, the Hudson River here today.
Enslaved people worked in all areas of the North, and because we're talking about a time when colonies were building themselves from the ground up, businesses were developing from the ground up, enslaved people worked alongside their owners in skilled positions.
The mill at Philipsburg Manor was really a technological wonder for its day. This is a machine that takes grain, hard seeds, converts it into flour on a huge scale for the 18th century. It's a place where you need a tremendous amount of skill to operate it correctly. And the miller, at least in the 1740s and early 1750s, was an enslaved man named Caesar. Caesar's the master miller responsible for really the entire profit coming out of this provisioning plantation. When something breaks, Caesar needs to have a certain amount of skill in fixing things that are made out of wood, fixing things that are made out of metal. All of that engineering has to be understood and worked out by this man Caesar, by this miller.
What really impressed me very much so was the fact that Caesar, the master miller, it took him approximately 14 years to learn this trade, to learn the skills of being a master miller. And not only did he have to be able to do all the repair work, he had to be able to operate it. He was able to do math. He's able to read. I would say at that time in history, he's more educated than the average free white tenant farmer.
There are a number of different languages that Caesar would have needed to be familiar with in order to at least communicate with these tenant farmers on a certain rudimentary level. When a tenant farmer brings their grain to Philipsburg Manor, Caesar's going to inspect that grain. There's no other person on the property that understands grain as intimately as the miller. There's a business side to all of this milling, especially during the very busy season in the fall known as the grinding season, when all of these tenant farmers are bringing in their wheat. Caesar's negotiating with them for the quality of their grain, the price of their grain. He's managing the operation of the mill. He's ensuring that these apprentices and other helpers are coordinating their tasks as well. There's a lot of moving parts, and Caesar's really has to be in the middle of all of them.